Hello everyone, welcome to Zaref Game Dev. In this video, we are going to create the rotation and the movement for our obstacles. And in the last video, we had a problem with our event manager. It was just a problem with the Unity. So I just restarted it and it automatically got fixed. So it was not a problem. So let's see how our spoke movement is going to be. So let's first go inside Unity. And as you can see, when we hit play, everything's working perfectly fine. The spokes are getting spawned, and when they are getting spawned, there's a problem with how they are instantly getting spawned. We want to like increase in size, and afterwards they'll start rotating. So we'll start creating the movement for that. So for that we have already created the spoke movement script. So let's go inside our prefabs and we'll need to attach a couple of things. So let's add it and we'll start editing our script. So let's go inside our spoke movement script. Now inside our spoke movement script, we are also going to need more variables. So the first thing we are going to need is the private float, and let's call it min height. And there's also going to be the max height and the center offset. So how much the offset is going to be from the center. Now after that, we are going to have a private float. The first one is the start size speed increase. So how much the start speed is going to be, and then there's the rotation speed, and finally is the oscillation speed. And after that we are going to have private bool for has game finished, and private sprite renderer, and first one is going to be for the wall b renderer, and the next one is going to be for the top wall renderer. And we'll also need a box collider 2D, and this one is going to be the wall B collider and the wall T collider, and we'll also need the collider for the center box. And after having all these variables, बोल हाँ बोल गेम बनाने बैठो हाँ क्यों हाँ तो चलो बंद कर वीडियो चालू है मेरा रिकॉर्ड कर हाँ। So the let's first have our awake function. So inside our awake function, we'll first set the has game finished to false. Then wall b renderer is going to be wall b dot get component sprite renderer, and similarly war t render is going to be wall t. It needs to be small. So we have both our renderers. Now let need to get the colliders. So wall B collider is going to be wall B dot get component box collider 2D, and the wall T collider is equals to wall T dot get component box collider 2D. Now afterwards, we also need to get the center box collider is equals to center box dot get component box collider 2D. So we have all our components now. Let's create the enable and disable. So on enable and disable. And let's also create the private void game over, which is going to take a dictionary from string to object, and we'll call it message, and it's just going to set has game finished to true. And inside our enable and disable, we'll cause the event manager dot start listening constants dot event names dot game over to game over. And if we copy, and we'll use stop listening, so it's going to stop our game over. Now let's first create our public void that spoke params, and here we are going to pass float of delay, and we'll create an enumerator, and it's going to be start resize, and it will get a parameter of float delay, and here we'll use. So the set spoke params is done, and we'll have yield return. So whenever this is called, whenever set spoke params is called, it's going to start our coroutine. So when it's going to be called inside our spawn manager, and why did on disable not work? On disable, instead of start listening, we'll do stop listening. Now it's correct. There'll be problems later if we don't do it. So let's go inside our spawn manager and let's fix it up. So whenever spokes are spawned, we are going to get the temporary spoke dot get component SpokeMovement, and we are going to set the spoke params, and the value we are going to pass is I plus 4% 5. I plus 4, yep, I plus 4% 5, and we'll multiply it by 0.2f. So it is just getting rotated. 40, yep. And we need to set the I plus 4 different value. So the params are already set up, and similarly we'll use it when we are spawning our spoke, but here we'll just use 5f, and 5f is just going to be our some default parameter. So if it is 5f or greater than 2f, we are just going to spawn it instantly. 0 will be difficult, so we are using 5f, or maybe we can use 0. No, we'll need to use 5f. So let's go inside our SpokeMovement, and inside our SpokeMovement, as you can see, whenever the start resize is called, let's delete it. First we are going to see center box dot set active to false, and afterwards let's get the v2 temporary size is going to be wall b collider dot size, and temp size dot y is going to be 0f, and wall b collider dot size is going to be temp size, and wall b render dot size is going to be temp size. So after having hmm, hmm, wall t collider, and here we'll use wall t collider and wall t renderer. So it's automatically going to set the size, and the offset. We forgot to set the offset. Yeah, we also need to set the offset temp size dot y. Spoke oscillate. I think it won't matter much. So we have set the size, and after setting the size, we'll do yield return new wait for seconds, and we are going to wait for the delay amount of seconds. If delay is greater than 2f, then we are going to wait for 1 or delay amount of seconds. So after waiting for delay amount of seconds, let's get our spoke height. It's going to be min height plus max height, and we'll multiply the center offset and divide by 2f. And after having our spoke size, while wall B collider dot size dot y is less than spoke height, or wall T collider dot size dot y is less than spoke. So let's do a yield return null, and let's copy our line of code here, and we'll do temp size dot y use plus equals to, and here we are going to use time dot delta time multiply by start size increase. Let's copy it once again, and the size is changed here, the renderer is changed here, and finally it's yield return null. So after having it done, hmm, hmm, hmm. Let's copy this once again. And here, what we are going to do is temp size dot y is going to be spoke height, and similarly is going to be spoke height. So the height is set up, and afterwards we'll have the center box dot set active. So this should spawn our objects correctly, and inside our spawn manager, yep. Let's go inside Unity and let's see if it is working. So we are inside Unity and the parameters are also set up. Let's hit play, and object reference not set to an instance of an object. Max height, min height. So spawn manager spoke. Let's set up the parameters first. So inside our parameters, min height is going to be 1.6, 3.52, center offset 0.96. Start size is going to be 10, 22.5. And the oscillation speed, let's set it to 0.4. And we'll need to rename the oscillation speed. It's oscillation speed. And I think we have a problem with the wall T collider, wall B collider. Wall B, wall T. And everything needs to have a box collider attached to it. So let's see, box collider 2D, box collider 2D, and box collider 2D. Now let's hit play, and there should be problems, but we'll see it afterwards. So we are able to see it. I think there is a problem with the renderer, wall B renderer. Yeah, told you. Wall T collider. Hmm. Let's go inside Unity and let's fix it up. Visual Studio. So the problem is we set the wall B and the wall T. Now here we are setting the wall B size and wall T collider size and wall T renderer size. Wall T collider size and wall T render size. So now there should not be any problems. So let's go inside Unity and let's hit play. So everything's getting spawned correctly. Let's restart. Start size, temp size, dot y, wall B renderer, wall T renderer. Now it should be fine. So there was the problem with the T and the B. So let's hit play. And as you can see, everything's spawning correctly. Whenever uh, new object is going to spawn. It will spawn at the end, and it will be as an animation. Now, after having this animation, we are going to have one more animation for our rotation and one more animation for our oscillation. So let's create those two functions, and they are going to be pretty much trickier. So let's first create the rotate. So enumerator spoke rotate, and here we are going to pass a delay. Here return new wait for seconds, and we'll pass the delay, and afterwards while the game is not finished, we are going to rotate our object. So we'll set transform dot rotate, and we are going to rotate around the z-axis with our rotation speed into time dot data time, and we'll do year return. So this is going to rotate, and we'll use the start coroutine. We are going to call the spoke rotate, and the parameter we are going to pass is if delay is greater than 5f, then 2f, then we'll use 0f, else we'll use the 1 minus delay. So 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 and similarly, instead of spoke rotate, let's add oscillate, and instead of spoke rotate, we'll pass spoke oscillate. So let's do the oscillate. So we are waiting for the delay amount of seconds, and after that, till the game is not finished, we are going to do something. So something what we are going to do is, let's first get the float center, and similarly we'll need to get the min height plus max height minus center offset. Hmm. And after having our center, let's get our temp size. So while if center is less than 1 point height or center is greater than max point height, where is the center? It should be at 2.56. Maybe we won't need the center offset. It is just min height plus max height divided by 2. And we'll do center plus is equals to time dot delta time multiplied by current speed, which are going to create. So there's the center, And similarly, we use temp size dot y plus is equals to time dot delta time multiplied by the current speed. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Temp size is equals to wall B collider dot size, or maybe render dot size. Wall B collider dot size is equals to temp size. Wall B render dot size is equals to temp size. And hmm, 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 hmm. Wall B collider dot offset is equals to new vector 2 0 temp size dot y divided by 2f. And it doesn't need to be negative, but there's a problem. There's our center, and it's going to pass from here to there and here to there. So let's add our center offset. Now let's copy this temp size again, and here wherever the wall B is there, replace with wall T collider, wall T collider, and wall T renderer, and similarly wall T renderer collider offset, and here we'll need to use negative. And afterwards we need to do center box collider dot offset is going to be new vector 2 0 comma center minus start center. And if center is less than min height or center is greater than max height, then we'll multiply the current speed by negative 1f. And that should be it. So let's go inside Unity and let's see if it is working. There are no parameter errors, and we'll try to do. It started rotating, and let's check all our box collider. Where is our box collider? Okay, wall T, wall B, box collider, perfectly fine. It is also fitting fine, so there is not any problem. What the? Why is it only showing 1 second? What happened? I don't want to record it again.